Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today's story is about a brave soul who traveled far from home, chasing something meaningful, only to face unexpected challenges and gain eye-opening insights. Before we get into it, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe so you never miss out on new content. All right, let's get started.
James wasn't always the cautious man he would become. Growing up in a small town outside Seattle, he was the kind of person who believed in fairy tales, not the magical kind with princesses and dragons, but the modern romance where love conquers all. His parents had a stable, predictable marriage that lasted 30 years, and James grew up thinking relationships were simple. Meet someone, fall in love, build a life together. James had built a successful career as a software engineer. He was smart, reasonably attractive, and had a stable job that allowed him to travel. But something was missing. His previous relationships had always fallen apart. Some ended because of his work commitments, others because he was too afraid to fully open up. Deep down, James wanted more than just a casual connection. He wanted a partner, someone to share his life with. When an opportunity came up in Bangkok, James saw it as a chance for a fresh start. Thailand seemed like a world of possibilities, a place where he could reinvent himself and maybe, just maybe, find the love he'd been searching for his entire life. Bangkok was nothing like James's hometown. The city was a sensory explosion, bright colors, spicy smells, constant noise, and a rhythm of life completely different from anything he'd experienced before. At first, James felt like an outsider. He would spend his evenings in his small apartment, working late or watching American movies, feeling lonely despite being in a city of millions. His colleagues were mostly expats like himself, men and women who had chosen to build their lives far from home. They would often go out together, sharing stories and experiences. James listened carefully, picking up bits of advice about living in Thailand. Some warned him about relationship scams, while others spoke romantically about finding true love in a culture so different from their own. James was careful. He wasn't naive, or so he thought. He had heard the stories about foreigners being taken advantage of. He told himself he was too smart to fall for any tricks. Little did he know, love has a way of making even the smartest people vulnerable. It was a typical humid Bangkok evening when James decided to get a massage. He was stressed from work, his shoulders tight from hours of coding. The massage parlor was clean, professional-looking, not the seedy establishments tourists sometimes frequented. Soft traditional music played in the background, and the scent of jasmine filled the air. That's when he met Bear. She wasn't like the other massage therapists, where they were professional and distant. Bear was warm, engaging. As she worked on the knots in his shoulders, she asked about his day. Her English was better than most, her questions thoughtful. James found himself sharing more than he usually would. Bear told him about her life. A small village in northern Thailand. A family struggling to make ends meet. Her dreams of starting a small business. She spoke with a mix of hope and sadness that touched James's heart. He saw not just a massage therapist, but a person with real struggles and genuine aspirations. Their relationship didn't start dramatically. It was a slow dance of conversations, coffee meetings, and gradual intimacy. Bear was different from the women James had dated before. She seemed genuinely interested in him, not his money, but his thoughts, his dreams. She would laugh at his jokes, touch his arm gently when they spoke, make him feel like the most interesting man in the world. James had never experienced such attention. In his previous relationships, he always felt like he was working too hard to maintain connection. With Bear, everything felt effortless. The cultural differences fascinated James. He wanted to learn more about Thai customs, about Bear's life. He bought books about Thai culture, asked her countless questions. Every answer made him feel closer to understanding her world. The money issues started slowly. At first, it was small things. Bear would mention a family problem, a sick relative, a needed repair. James, wanting to be helpful, would offer support. $100 here, 200 there. Each time, Bear was incredibly grateful, her appreciation making James feel like a hero. These small requests gradually became larger. A sister who needed surgery, a father whose farm was struggling, a mother who required expensive medicine. James never asked for detailed proof. He told himself he was being a good partner, supporting the person he loved. His friends warned him. "Be careful," they'd say. These stories sound familiar, but James was convinced his relationship was different. Bear wasn't like other women, he believed. Their connection was special. Within months, they were living together. A beautiful apartment in a nice part of Bangkok, paid for entirely by James. Bear seemed to transform their home, making it feel warm and lived in. She would cook traditional Thai meals, teach James about her culture, make him feel like he was part of something larger than himself. James was happy. Or at least he told himself he was happy. He ignored the small inconsistencies, the mysterious phone calls, the fact that Bear never seemed to want to introduce him to her friends or family, the way she would become defensive if he asked too many questions. The truth came slowly, like a fog lifting to reveal a landscape completely different from what was expected. It started with small discoveries. A bank statement showing frequent transfers to unknown accounts, mysterious messages on her phone, conversations overheard that didn't quite make sense. When James finally confronted Bear, she was a master of manipulation. Tears, stories, elaborate explanations that seemed just believable enough. She would turn his questions around, making him feel guilty for even asking. "Don't you trust me?" she would say, and James would back down. But truth has a way of revealing itself. The final blow came when James went to surprise Bear at her workplace, only to discover she hadn't worked at the massage parlor for months. Her friend Som eventually revealed the full truth. Bear had been seeing multiple men, collecting money from each, living an elaborate lie. James's world shattered. Everything he believed about their relationship, about love, about trust, all of it collapsed in an instant. The months following the breakup were the most challenging of James's life. He went to therapy, joined support groups, read books about manipulation and cross-cultural relationships. He wasn't just healing from a broken heart. He was rebuilding his entire understanding of human connection. James learned that love isn't about grand gestures or solving someone's problems. It's about mutual respect, honest communication, and genuine care. He learned to recognize manipulation tactics, to listen to his instincts, to set healthy boundaries. Years later, James would look back on this experience not with bitterness, but with understanding. It was a painful lesson, but one that made him wiser, more compassionate, more aware. He didn't become cynical about love or cross-cultural relationships. Instead, he became more thoughtful, more intentional. He understood that genuine connections require time, patience, and mutual effort. James's story isn't just about a failed relationship. It's about the importance of taking relationships slowly, listening to your intuition, and maintaining personal boundaries, understanding cultural differences without using them as excuses, and recognizing that true love is built on respect and honesty. To anyone listening, love is beautiful, but it requires wisdom. Take your time, ask difficult questions, trust carefully, and remember, a good relationship should make you feel secure, respected, and valued. James's journey was painful, but it was also a path to profound personal growth. And in the end, that might be the most valuable relationship of all, the one we have with ourselves.
All right, guys, thanks for making it all the way through. Do you think James could have done something differently to avoid being manipulated? Or was this a lesson he just had to learn the hard way? And here's another question. Have you ever ignored red flags in a relationship? If so, what finally opened your eyes? Let me know in the comments. I'm really curious, what's your perspective on this story? And if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell for more content like this. Thanks for being here, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care, guys.